Hey everybody, it's me Shawol360 and I'm here to do a video about how to use FromJapan.com. And I finally have a tripod, but I have to say this tripod is crap. So there's going to be a few times where the images are not going to be that steady, and I ask you to bear with me because I'll just have to fix stuff because the tripod doesn't really hold up. So From Japan, for those of you who don't know, is a buying proxy site. Basically what it is that there's certain websites in Japan that you can only use if you live in Japan. Yahoo Auctions Japan is a site that you can only use if you live in Japan, and because that's the way it is, a lot of people use From Japan in order to be able to use the auction website. And I've used it before, I've had good results, but it can be hard for a lot of people to understand. So I'm going to take you through kind of an auction process and then give you a couple of more pointers about using the site. I hope it helps somebody. I don't profess to be any kind of a teacher or anything, so don't take my word as law. I'm just giving you kind of tips that I've learned from using the site and things that I've used that have gone my way. So I'm logged in, and I've got it on extreme close-up because otherwise you'd be able to see my login information. But I did a search of the website, and I decided to search shiny. And it asked me what language I want to search in. I decided to search in Japanese. Why? Because when I've changed it to English or Korean before, nothing came up. So that's the reason why I searched Japanese. Also, on the sidebar here, I don't have a price point that I specifically said I wanted to stay in. However, I did say that I only wanted to use the auction websites. I did not want to use any of the shopping sites, and that's because most of the time the stuff I'm looking for are items that are not available brand new. Like I'm looking for maybe a single photo card, I'm looking for, maybe a piece of something, but I'm not looking for stuff in brand new condition, especially because a lot of times I'm looking for rare things, and getting them used is going to be a cheaper option for me than trying to get them brand new. So I've made the search and I saw something that I want to buy. Well, I'm pretending I want to buy this thing. So the thing I've decided that I want to buy is this key number 73 Shiny in Wonderland card. So I'm going to click on the link here, and it's going to bring up the item's description, and it's showing that the item is 20 yen, approximately 17 cents. The auction has 2 days left. This is considered used condition, and it's saying that the delivery is postage extra, which means I have to pay for shipping. And I have several options that I can do here. I can either bid for the item, I can do what they call a sniper bid, which means that at the last minute it'll place my bid for me, and maybe I'll be able to trick somebody into thinking that they have all the time in the world to place a low bid while I place a high bid at the last minute. Also, it says I can calculate total cost. I don't usually use the calculator because it asks some questions I'm just not comfortable with guessing about. And then it says go to shopping site or add to watch list. So we're going to press bid, and then I'm going to show you the page that you end up getting to once you've pressed bid. So hold on. So we're at the bid website, and I've got it moved strategically so you guys don't see my real name and stuff. But as you can see here, it's saying that the current bid price is 20 yen. 2 days left, and it says I have an available deposit of 250 yen. I made a deposit on the website using my PayPal account, and I decided to deposit money instead of buying points. And the reason why I decided to deposit money instead of buying points is because From Japan points are non-refundable. But there's a reason why people might use From Japan points. For example, later on I'm going to show you kind of a price and fee breakdown. Well, with From Japan, the items that I buy, usually I pay a 5% system usage fee because that's just standard for them. So you pay 5% on any bids that you make, plus you have to pay 5% on any delivery charges or bank transfer fees that From Japan has to make on your behalf. So because of that, I usually would recommend buying points if you know for sure you're going to use a certain amount of money. But I usually just put a regular deposit because sometimes I'll think that I'm going to find a bunch of things, and then it turns around that I don't really use all of the money, and then they put the money back on my credit card. So that's the reason why I tend to just make a regular deposit. But if you buy points, like I said, you can avoid a usage fee, but not really completely, because whenever you use From Japan points, when you get ready to buy them, you pay a 5% fee right away. So you don't ever truly escape the 5% fee. It's more that either get the 5% fee now or get the 5% fee later. It's your choice. The only reason why I could see that being a benefit outside of just, paying fees now or paying fees later, is if there was a large fluctuation in the value of the yen. So let's say that the yen that day is trading at 120 yen to the dollar. And then the next time you go on From Japan, the yen is trading for 80 yen to the dollar. So your dollar is not really worth as much money later on as it was back when it was 120. Whereas if you bought points, you kind of set the yen value at the time that you bought those points. So that might save you some money later on. But I usually just do a standard deposit so I can get that money back if I don't actually use it. And for those of you who are wondering about maybe some extra fees that show up in your bank account, it is because whenever you're sending money to a website like From Japan, they charge you a foreign transaction fee. Most banks will, so just be aware that you might have to pay a little extra fee. My fees have never been that much. I think the most I've ever paid for a foreign transaction fee is $2, so it's not very expensive at all, and that was when I was sending like $100 foreign transaction. So I told myself I'm going to bid on this item. So I went to bid on this item, and you can see right there that it gives you a bid quote before you commit to it. So yes, the item in question was 20 yen, which is approximately 17 cents. But every single thing I buy on From Japan has a commission fee. The commission fee is 200 yen, so that's about $1.70. And then I have to pay a system usage fee of 5%, which 5% of 220 yen is 11 yen. So my total here for this one card went from being 17 cents to being about $2 for that one card. So going down, I can see that the seller has lots of positive feedback, no negative feedback. Going down some more, it asks me, do I want the safe domestic shipping option with insurance, or do I want the cheaper domestic shipping method without insurance and tracking? I always pick cheaper because a lot of the stuff I'm buying is not terribly expensive and not incredibly rare. However, if I was buying something that I was really worried about, that I thought maybe could break easily, then I would definitely go with the safer domestic shipping. It's just that safer shipping is going to cost me more money, so that's the reason why I don't normally go with it. Going down, it asks, please click here if you wish for your item to be sent in the exact packaging it was received in from the seller. I would check that box if I were you, only because sometimes, like K-Town for You and other websites, they give you free things. So they'll give you like a free photo card, or they'll give you a little piece of candy, or they might write a note. If you don't click this option, you won't get any of that. The only thing you're going to get is exactly the item that you ordered, which means that the people over at From Japan get to keep the freebies. And some of that stuff, I'm sure they're like, this is crap, I'll throw it away. But sometimes some sellers are really generous, and they might give you like an extra photo card or something, and you're going to miss out on that if you say you want it sent in. If you don't say that you want it sent in the exact packaging. So that's what I'm letting you know. And if you know you're not getting something very heavy, then the extra stuff is probably not going to increase your shipping any. Then ask if you have an entrance ticket. I think that's for like if you're buying concert tickets or something. I've never had to use that. The check service. They make it to where it's a per item option, which I think is really smart, because sometimes you might have something like this 20-cent card that you don't need it to be checked because you're not worried about it having scratches or being drastically different than what they advertise. But if you have something that's super expensive and you're worried that it might come in less than desirable condition, you might apply for the check service. And if you do that, then that allows them to look over your item when it comes in, determine if the condition is as described, and if it's not, then they can go ahead and lodge a complaint on your behalf. And that keeps you from ending up spending a lot of money on something that turns out to not be what they said it was going to be. Then lastly, it asks you to agree to their services. Otherwise, you can't make the bid. It won't let you move forward. So I'm just going to say back because I'm not making that bid. So there you go. The next thing I'm going to show you is an example of some prices that I have paid for items and kind of a fee breakdown of my latest order that I got from Japan. So hold on just a second while I set that up. Okay, so this is my receipt from Japan for my latest order that I placed. And this is just an example of what I paid for this item once all the fees were added, because a lot of people look at From Japan and they look at the search now and they see these cheap prices for items and think, oh, it's not going to cost me anything to buy something on there. This is only 20 cents, this is only $5. You're mistaken. It actually comes with a lot of different fees. So this item right here I think is the most expensive thing I ordered. Yes, it is this Rain Back to the Basics CD, which I know some of you are probably wondering, why did I buy that? Because I already own it. Well, when it comes in, I'll show you why. Anyway, the final winning price on this CD was 1,000 yen. Then I paid the standard $2 commission. Then, since I didn't use any points, I had to pay my 5% system usage fee after I bid rather than before by buying the From Japan points. So my total for what they call charge 1 was 1,260 yen. Now the difference between charge 1 and charge 2, because you can see there's a line between some charges above and some charges below. Charge 1, when you win a bid, it asks you to go ahead and pay all the fees up front before anything happens. So you pay all your fees up front. Once you've paid all of your fees for just the item itself, for winning the item, for nothing else, not for shipping or anything else, once you've paid those charges, they don't charge you domestic delivery or bank transfer fees until the items arrive at their warehouse. The reason why they wait until then is because if they purchase the item for you, the winning bid, and the item never comes in, they can get their money back on any payments they made to the seller. Also, if they paid a delivery charge for you, they can get that money back from the seller. So that's the reason why they don't charge that until after the item is in hand and they know what the total is going to be. Because I bought an album, the shipping was kind of high. It was $3. Well, $3. It was 360 yen. It's approximately $3. And then the bank transfer fee is a set 172 yen every single time, because they use a system kind of like PayPal to send money. It's not PayPal though. Basically, it is the charge for sending money from one bank account to the other, and they always send the money from their bank accounts from Japan to the bank account of the seller. So it's a set $172 bank fee unless you're talking about like some really big ticket items. But you can see on this other thing that I bought, it was 172 yen there. The next thing I bought, it was another 172 yen. It stayed the same. Okay, now we're going to go down to my charge to cost. So this is my charge to cost. All together, for all 5 items that I bought, I paid 774 yen, so just under $10 in domestic shipping charges, because everything I bought had to be shipped at an extra cost. And then because I had 5 items at 172 yen per item, I paid 860 yen for those items in bank transfer fees. So about $10 there. It's pretty high. And then for shipping, because I only had 1 album and everything else I got were cards, my shipping's not that bad. I was able to choose surface mail, which has tracking. So it was 480 yen, and then insurance 410 yen. If you had a bunch of albums that you bought from Japan, you probably would pay a bit more. My last package that I got from Japan, where I had the 3 different albums in it, the shipping on that, I ended up getting EMS shipping, and the shipping was like $20. I think it was like 2,300 yen is what it was. So it was about $20, which is still not bad because it was EMS, so it got here like in less than a week. And it had 3 albums in it, so it was a little bit heavy. And the reason I mention that is because a lot of people have a hard time using the fee calculator on From Japan. I don't blame you. The fee calculator, it just confuses me. But, I mean, the way that I would estimate your cost for any item on From Japan, take into consideration what your winning bid might be, or at least what your maximum that you're willing to pay for something. Then add on 200 yen right away as your commission fee. Then multiply that amount by 5%. Then, usually in the description for an item, they will tell you how much the delivery will be if they have to send it to you. So go ahead and write that down and add that to your total. then go ahead and write down 172 yen right off the bat so you can figure out what your bank transfer fee is. Now, if you're going to only buy one item, you can go ahead and estimate your shipping, but if you're going to be buying more than one item, it's going to be hard to estimate your shipping right off the bat. But I end up spending, all told, for everything I bought, probably around $40. I spent, for the 5 items that I bought, I spent close to, I think, 2,800 yen, and then I spent another 2650 on charge 2 charges, so altogether, yeah, close to $50. Now, one of the things I got totally made the $50 I spent worth it. But yeah, from Japan, while it can look like it's going to be super cheap, can actually be quite pricey. So the question you have to ask yourself is, how much am I willing to spend to get something from Japan? And if I'm willing to spend a certain amount, then, you know, go for it. But if you think that you're going to buy something on here for 20 cents, you're sadly mistaken, because it's not going to be 20 cents. Right off the bat, you're going to spend 200 yen just for buying the item. Then you're going to have to pay the 172 bank transfer fee. Then you're going to have to pay any domestic shipping, any international shipping for it to get from Japan to you, and you're going to have to pay the 5% commission or system usage fee. So from Japan can be really cheap on a few things, but it can be really expensive on others. So, you know, the questions you ask yourself, like I said, is how much am I willing to spend, and how much of a priority is the item? There are some things that I got on from Japan that for me were extremely important to get, and things that I would have paid quite a bit on eBay to have. So it was worth it to me, but for you guys, maybe not so much. But yeah, those are the questions that you ask yourself before you start using from Japan. I can't really give you any information on any of the other websites, Japamart, Buy.e, or Zen Market, because I've never used them. But there are a lot of other sites out there, and everyone's fee structure is a little bit different. This is just the site I'm familiar with. And thank you guys for hanging in there with me, because I know that this video was really hard to follow. I'm sure I made you guys confused quite a bit, but hopefully this answers people's questions about from Japan, because I could talk about it, but I figured maybe showing you would be better for you, because I'm kind of a show me girl myself. So that's it. I'll talk with you guys later. Bye.